Record. So welcome everyone to our presentation today. My name is Cati Porter. I'm Executive Director of Inlandia Institute. And today we have something very special. We are offering you today the inaugural event in a brand new series that is curated by Black authors and thinkers and for our local audiences, and it is called Blacklandia. And today's event is titled Expressions of the Soul. And it is presented in partnership with the Riverside NAACP Youth and College Council, Empower You Edutainment, and Islands for Writers. And today we have with us CelenaDiana Bumpus, who will be moderating our discussion, Sharron Lewis, representing the NAACP Youth and College Council and Empower You Edutainment. And our featured presenter is Nia Sharron Campbell, who has been with Inlandia Institute's writing workshops for many years, and we're so proud to see of what she's accomplished. So before we formally begin, Inlandia Institute respectfully acknowledges and recognizes our responsibility to the original and current caretakers of this land, water, and air, the Cahuilla, Tongva, Luiseno, and Serrano peoples, and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. Today, the Inlandia region is home to many indigenous peoples from all over the world, and we express our gratitude to them for allowing us the opportunity to live and work on these homelands. So I'm going to turn this over to Selena, and I would like to remind you all that this event is being recorded. And if you have questions and answers, please type them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And after the conclusion of the readings, we will then turn to our questions and answers. And with that, I give you CelenaDiana Bumpus, Inlandia workshop leader and proprietor of Islands for Writers.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. And just as an introduction, this is the kickoff of our Blacklandia anthology reading. And the format will be that we will have a reading and then a discussion afterwards. I'd like to introduce first Sharron Lewis, who is with the NAACP in Riverside and also with Empower You Edutainment. She is going to introduce our speaker, which is her wonderfully talented daughter. Sharron, I'm sending it to you now, sweetie. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and I just want to say thank you for the invitation. And I want to start off talking about Nia and her writing journey. I didn't, be honest with you, did not know that Nia could write creatively. However, she entered the writing contest at her elementary school, and what they did was when you did your play, little short play about bullying, the school would have some expert writers and actors that was from Los Angeles would pick 3 plays to do for the school. And I was so surprised when I got notification that Nia's little play was selected. And she was so happy. We all went, the family, to see it at the school assembly. But I didn't really pursue getting writing classes for Nia until high school. And I recall, I said, you know what, Nia really enjoyed writing that little play when she was in elementary school. And I think that I'm going to look for some writing classes for her. I was on a tight budget at the time, so I was looking for something free. And I found out about this wonderful program at Corona Library And I would take Nia every week to go to this class on Tuesday night. She loved it. And then I started hearing from the instructor, and I started hearing from Celine that Nia could write. And Nia started reading her poems all the way home, and I was just amazed. I love her style of writing, and our family have always been engaged in the art. I'm a dance and theater teacher, retired from 33 years of doing that at Nota Vista High School. And I thought that Nia would just pursue theater, but Nia is a gifted writer, and you're going to discover that today. I'm not saying that as her mother. I'm saying that as a person that have watched her grow under the leadership of this fine organization. Inlandia Institute is great. They really bring out the best in our youth in terms of open them up and give them the freedom to write. Often the school is too busy to do that. So I highly recommend, if you have children, grandchildren, community members, to engage them in taking some writing classes outside of school. It can really open up doors and open up for them to express their feelings. So that is my introduction to Nia. Some of the poems that she's going to read is, you're going to see her journey from when she started writing until the things that she have written recently in terms of Black Lives Matter. So introducing Nia Sharron Campbell.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm Nia, obviously. So with my first experience with writing was like I was like 8, and my mom used to write plays like all the time, and I was like, I should dip my toes in this. So I wrote this play called Sexy, Sassy, and Severe. And I remember my mom, she found it. She's like, what is this? So she goes on there and she's like, Sexy by Nia Sharron Campbell. So she's like scrolls down and she's like, oh my God, it's a play. She wrote a play. And so I don't really think I knew what those words meant, but like I just, so I thought it sounded cool, the 3 S's. But so I've came a long way in the last almost 20 years. I'm not gonna age myself. But so today, as part of the anthology, I'll be reading someone else's poem first, and then I'll dive into my works. So this poem is called Dear America, and it's by Billy Justice, and he's just this talented writer who wanted to write about the state of our country. So I'll be reading this. Dear America, why such turmoil on your soil? Why the division amongst the people? We are one nation under God, so we must follow those laws, not our own. Justice for all is becoming justice for some. Too many lost souls with nowhere to run, babies at a disadvantage before their life has begun. Dear America, what is your purpose? We won't lose to the spirit of fear. We won't lose to the spirit of hate. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm not here to debate. The land of opportunity. So our differences are something to celebrate. It's unity. Change starts now. Let's lift every community. In this moment, I have to take a pause to give respect to the lives lost without a cause. Their curtains were closed too early and they deserve an applause. I said their show was cut too early, so they deserve an applause. Well, let's reevaluate the situation. They actually deserve a standing ovation for the innocent lives taken and the ones with honorable dedication. Dear America, you are the land of diversity. Don't let people crush it. America, you're the land where people have a dream. Let them reach it. Truth, let us be it. Love, let us live it. Dear America, despite the reality that evil does exist, it is always conquered with faithful hearts. We should not live in fear of people, but fear of judgment from God. Dear America, let us rise Let us stand with our hearts to the sky and praise in our hands. Divided we fall, but together we stand. We will take action on God's master plan. Dear America. And so he actually had some notes to go with why he wrote this poem. So this is just his notes. Dear America was written to unite and not divide. It was written to ask the question, but more so to express a desire to see the world united as one. Although America cannot answer this question, it is really a question that we must ask ourselves. Why division? America offers dreams, and we are a mixed group of amazing humans that can achieve the impossible. History shows that a united nation brings growth in the economy, relationships, families, health, and overall progression. The strength of our nation will be measured on the unity of our nation. Let's stand, America. So that's Billy's poem, and now I'm going to go into some of my own. Some of them are just about me in general and how I was feeling at the time, and then some of them are about social justice, so it's a wide variety. It's expressions from my soul today. So this is my first one I'm going to start off with. It's called The Girl with the Lost Voice, and I wrote it when I was maybe 16 or 17, pretty dark time in my life. So this is called The Girl with the Lost Voice. Lost voice, out in the distance, opposites I tell you. I promise that's what she is. The exact opposite of what you believe. She's strong. No, she's weak. She's cocky. No, she hates herself. She's beautiful inside and out. No, her soul is a dark and tarnished place that longs to see the world burn, and her beauty is sitting in a compact case filled with artificial brown cream that allows her to pretend that she's beautiful, because if she allowed herself to accept her hideousness, she would be hung by her own two hands. You think you see her? You truly think you do? Well, she wept aloud as she cried herself to sleep, wishing to be someone else. She is a lost voice in the many, not because she can't speak, but because she knows they won't understand. She heard their voices as she sees their eyes all looking at her, laughing at her, taunting her. How could they see anything more than her facade? Happy, self-confident, only child with spoiled tendencies. No, she's depressed, hates herself, and has two brothers who love her but can't get through her force field because she uses it to block out everyone and everything. This girl is grateful for everything she has. She has a heart of gold, wanting to help everyone around her, wanting to change the world and understand those who others cannot. But she can't. She wants to love, because who is this girl? This girl with a monster embedded in her soul, the hate she has received, lost voice with a black soul and a broken heart. That's who she is. She walks in the black of night. She wears pink because if she wore all black, it would show through her facade. She looks for help, for somebody, just anybody to understand. If only Jess understand. She is the girl with the lost voice. So this next one, thank you guys. So this next one is called I Am a Strong, Empowered Woman, or it's called I Am. But I wrote this, I feel like I wrote this with Inlandia. I'm not sure. I don't even remember writing this. I was like going through my poems and I was like looking for poems to perform today. And I was like, oh, this is good. I don't remember this, but I wrote it. So, all right. So this is called I Am a Strong, Empowered Woman. I wonder why women are seen as lesser beings when we were all threads in the same tapestry, all making up the same picture. I hear voices telling women that we are not. We are not brilliant. We are not strong. We are not conquerors. We are not successful. We simply are not, they say. I see visions of images of women objectified and over-sexualized, not just by men, but by themselves in some cases. We as women are taught to use our bodies to get what we demand. I wish that people, both women and men, could see the beauty in women beyond their physicalities and realize the beauty in the woven tapestry that we are all a part of. I am a caged bird flying as all women are. Society tries to define us, but we break free from the mold and define who we want to be. I pretend there will ever be a day where Every breathing creature realizes the beauty in the diverse tapestry, because the truth is society will never truly accept anyone who doesn't fit in their prepackaged mold. God forbid a woman of all creatures try to define herself. I feel that even though we will never change all minds, we must strive to at least bring a few out of ignorance. I touch the threads of the colorful tapestry and admire the fact that they come in different shapes, sizes, colors, and genders, and they are all beautiful. I worry about women and girls who don't know their worth. I cry rarely because I don't want to be seen as weak. Society has affected me too. I worry about women and girls. I am a strong, empowered woman. Although I have flaws, I understand that the world will never be ideal, but I hope it can be better. I say I am the voice of the outcast, the ones who are different from society's so-called normalities. So excuse my lack of formalities when I say back off of us outcasts and let us be who we are. For we didn't ask to be different. We just knew we weren't like everybody else. I dream of a world where everyone knows the true beauty of the diverse tapestry and appreciates each thread for its own individual beauty. But alas, this is just a dream. This world will never be perfect. We must never stop striving to make it better. So that was my women's empowerment piece. I was feeling real feminist that day, I'm assuming. I don't remember writing it. I have a bad memory. But that was my women's empowerment piece. So this one actually is one of my more recent works. I actually wrote this last year when I was in yet another dark place. So this one is called Tears. Tears are flowing freely, free flowing. My pain is like an open infected wound, throbbing and full of pus. I am full of disgust. I am falling off the edge of screaming, done, crying, clawing my way to the sun, the light, or at least trying to. There is no light for me, no salvation. I can't breathe. I need some ventilation. I need to snap back, but I don't know how. I don't know how to come back from this. I need to heal, but healing is a dish best served on a plate in fantasy land. Can you ever really look in the mirror and be okay with who you are today? Or will the shadows of the past always be hunting you like a ghost who can't pass on? Will the dark clouds and thunder follow my very soul all the days of my life? Is this constant state of unrest the only thing life will ever be for me? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Or is it just another runaway train? Tears are flowing like they always have. I am no stranger to tears. So that was a pretty dark one. I went kind of deep there, but so that was Tears. And so this one is one of my social justice pieces that I wrote last year. It's called I Don't Want to Have a Son. And it's just about like how some Black women may be feeling in the state of our country today. So I don't want to have a son. I don't want to have a son. Why should I have a son? Why should I give society that satisfaction? There is no call to action for the son of a Black woman. A Black man in America is labeled a social pariah before he is even born. I don't want to have a son. He can be rolling through some neighborhoods in a suit and a Mercedes, and some people will still think that he stole it. He can be babysitting white children, and some people will think that he kidnapped them. I don't want to have a son. He can be suspended from school for nothing, literally nothing. I don't want to have a son. He can drop out of school. He can and probably will go to jail. I don't want to have a son because I don't want my son to be just another statistic. I don't want him to kill or be killed. I don't want him to have to go to jail for an unjust cause. I don't want my son to be beaten to death for whistling at a white woman like Emmett Till in 1955. I don't want my son to have to try to be so much more perfect than the Chad Davison or Ethan Holt. I don't want my son to die saying he can't breathe. I don't want my son to be shot down with a can of Skittles and iced tea. I don't want my son to be shot for playing his music too loud. I don't want my son to be shot for playing in the park with a toy gun. I want my son to have fun in the sun. I want my son to love the man above, but he can't. So I don't want a son. There is no difference between Emmett Till in 1955 and Tamir Rice in 2014. We like to think that our world has evolved so much, but a child was killed then. A child was killed today. Not because they were monsters, not because they were criminals, but because they were Black. Because in America, being Black equates to the same thing. I don't want my son to be a Black man or boy in America. Please, God, spare me the pain of losing my son to the streets or the jails or the police. Please, 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 God. I don't want a son. So that was one of my social justice ones. So this one is a little lighter on the ears. Sorry for getting so dark on you guys. But anyway, this one is called I Am, I Am Not. Not to be confused with I Am a Strong and Hard Woman, which is the informative earlier. Thank you, Katie. I see your chat. So this one is called I Am, I Am Not. And I just wrote this, I think I wrote it in a writing class, probably in Inlandia. I'm not sure. Again, I don't remember when I wrote this. It could have just been in the car ride home on my phone, but I wrote this probably in my teens. So here we go. I know I was 17 because it says it later in the poem, but anyway. I am not. I am a caterpillar trying to fly, but I haven't yet made that transition. What is it I say to her who is already a butterfly? Is it a decision, a want, a need, or a desire? Yet still I am unable to acquire what I want and need. I am the moon shining over you all, protecting you from the night, but still is the sun you see. Why can't you see me? I am a horse pulling the carriage, pulling you all along, but still it's to something else you sing your song. I am not your stereotype. Sorry to burst your bubble, honey. I am not 16 and pregnant. I am 17 and still in school. I am not your fool, but I know you want me to be. I am not your inward, no matter what you heard. My grades are okay, and I just might make it someday. I am not your Shaniqua on Mari, not knowing who my baby daddy is. I am not your dummy, and I never will be. Try to look beyond what you see and appreciate the best in me. I don't know all that I am, not exactly just yet, but I will find out who I am, and on that you can bet. I will be what I am, and I hope that's okay. On second thought, who cares what you think? I am not your property, and despite what you believe, I never will be. So... that was my little, it's kind of like a lot of different stuff in there. It's a little bit about me, a little bit about social justice and stuff. So that was that little fun poem. And then next, oh, this is one of my favorite poems. This poem is literally one of my absolute favorite poems I've ever written. It's really represents who I am, like, all through and through. This is literally me. So it's literally called Piece of Me. So here I go. I open up a piece of me, very slowly, day by day, step by step. No one knows my full story. I have secrets within secrets that make up me. All of me is in a box for no one to see. This stems from a hurtful place that I barely brung myself to face. It's like the Superman effect. He makes no attempt to hide his identity, but still everyone is oblivious to who he really is. No one knows who I really am, but I don't give a damn. That's the way I like it. No one takes off my mask because I like it. But just for today, I'll give you a piece of me, a very small piece of me, not yet a symphony, but so small you cannot see. You can feel, but I guess for me to heal, I need to start by being real. So I'll start by giving you a piece of me, a very simple piece of me, not yet out for the world to see, but just a small piece of me. So I'm gonna give you that piece of me that is broken into 1,000 pieces that are scattered around in my head like a crossword puzzle that can't be solved, that screams and yells, sounds that can only be heard by me, voices that tell me that I am no good, that I would be better off dead, voices that are tormenting me, ripping my soul into pieces, and then I am walking around in slow motion, trying to make it in a world that I don't understand. I'm just trying to be me and make it the best way I know how, wearing a mask to hide the pain that doesn't want to go away. Desperately trying to fit in, but I can't because the world wants to pretend that I don't exist. So I too play the acting game, wearing my mask so that the world can be perfect. So behold the ones I see around. There is no piece of me to be found. It's put away in a box with a lock, tucked away in a wardrobe like Narnia. It's sucked away from the world by the vacuum of my pain. There shall be no rain, not drought, not 66 or just pure bliss, but Drury Lane and dragon slain. The piece of me I am trying to share is the lifelessness my soul still bears, and I cannot seem to hide from the pain. So just for today, I will give you a piece of me, a dark and painful piece of me, and hope that you won't go weak on me, because the very thought of you leaving me alone puts me in an early grave. So tell me, for the love of me, do you really want that piece of me? Or do you too wear the mask? Thank you guys. And so this is my final poem. I actually wrote this probably around 17 or 18. And this is just the perfect one to end it on because it's literally where I come from. So just kind of talks about, thank you guys, I'm reading the chat as I'm trying to talk, but thank you guys so much for listening and coming and enjoying hopefully everything I'm saying. I appreciate you guys so much. So this is, it's called I Come From. So it just kind of represents me and my many sides. I come from blood and sweat. I come from tears, salty and wet. I come from Zataraz and beignets. I come from work for no pay. I come from a Native American tribe. I come from fighting to stay alive. I come from women beaten and abused, but it led to my last name. I come from pride and grace. I come from sweat and dirt in the face. I come from love and hate. I come from heaven's gate, although it seems I could just as well be from hell. I come from the ringing of the cracked bell, and although I don't have liberty, my heart is just as cracked. I come from the belief that there are no races, only different faces, each just as beautiful as the last. I come from Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, and Martin Luther King Jr. I come from tongue-tied. I come from barely knowing English, even though it's the only language I know. I come from fat yet beautiful women. I come from constant arguing. I come from the moon and the sun. I come from fun. I come from forgiveness. I come from scars and whips. I come from death. I come from life. I come from black. I come from white. I come from every single one of you, and anyone else that ever has been or ever will be. Has you just the same come from them and from me? I come from my grandmother teaching me the only Spanish she knows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I come from everything. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for listening.
What a wonderful, wonderful read by such a talented, talented young lady that is just so amazingly prolific. Are there any questions people have? Let me look and see real quick if anyone has any questions. God, there's so many wonderful comments. Let me see. I'm going to read through the comments in case other people didn't see them. The girl has found her glorious voice. Strong, empowered woman. Yes. Snaps. Touching. Let's see. I don't want to have a son. So powerful. I'm in tears. Thank you, Nia. Very good. Enjoying your work. Brings tears to my eyes with sadness and pain. So deep, Nia. Snap, snap, snap. I don't want a son. A profound statement, testimony, indictment against a society that many feel, have felt. A fire symbol. Powerful. Fuego. Thank you. Prayer sign. Image, mask imagery. Wow. We wear the mask. Unfortunately, too many people with too many masks. Truthfulness is so needed. Beautiful. Clapping hands. I come from everything is so important for everyone to hear. Very well done, Nia. Great job. Praying hands. Wonderful. Thank you. You are everything. Fire symbol. Well done. Great pieces. Well performed. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Glad you guys enjoyed. From Nia herself. So does anybody have any questions? We'd love to hear some questions, more comments. Would anybody like to hear more questions?
Well, I actually have a question since we don't have any in the box right now. You know, I would like to hear, Nia, what are you working on right now? Are you writing still? And what are your plans for your writing? Let's see. Hey, well, unmute.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. It wouldn't let me. It said the host was not allowing me to unmute. Sorry. So right now, I do write from time to time. Right now, I'm an English major at RCC, so I'm focusing on getting my degree. But whenever I do feel moved and inspired, I'll write something. So my most recent poem was probably either Tears or I Don't Want to Have a Son. I'm not sure which one I wrote first, but or last. But yeah, I am still writing, but it's slowed down since I was in high school because I have so much assigned work. But I write whenever I can because it's my passion. So
Yeah. Are you involved at all with the literary journal on campus at RCC?
I should be, but I'm not.
Okay, look it up, Muse. They're great. We do have a question. It's in the box.
I thought I saw one right here
Mm.
from Laura. It says, when you write, do you let it flow or do you pick each word carefully? Pick each word carefully.
Word.
So
Yeah.
that. When I write, I just have to feel inspired. That's where my best work comes from. Like Pieces of Me, I was just having a day and I was like, you know what, I need to vent. So I'm just like, and it just spewed it out. I did that in like 10 minutes, believe it or not. I swear I'm not lying. I did that in like 10 minutes. And it was like, and I just spit it out. And that's most of my poems, honestly. I'll just be bored and I'm like, okay, I'm writing right now. It's happening. It just comes out. It's like jot down notes and then poems come out. It's like a natural thing for me.
There's a lady that asked, when do you plan to have your book of poetry? When will we hold your book of poems in our hands? Your voice is so.
I definitely need to do one. Yeah, I'll definitely, I don't have an answer for that right at the present moment, but soon is my answer.
Well, I would love to hear a little bit from Sharron about what the NAACP Youth and College Council is doing. Can you tell us about what programs you offer and how people can get involved? Let's see.
Muted.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, I am now. Basically, we welcome our young people self-expression. Nia is the president of our youth group, and she's very creative, and we just focus on creativity. For one thing that we've done is we have encouraged our young people to write about their experiences of what's going on in terms when George Floyd was killed. And it was very hurtful and very painful. And so we encourage our young people to write about that. And I don't know if you, the audience came last week, some of the expressions and things that was shared is in our piece that we did, the program called Let's Talk About Race was a reflection of that. And Nia had put a couple of pieces in that program. We just finished up doing one. It was a tribute to Good Trouble. And we did that one last night. And that was a tribute to John Lewis. What we do with Riverside County Youth Council, along with Empower You Edutainment, we have a partnership. In school, sometimes the students, they tune off. They don't like history for whatever reason. And what we do as our education committee, we bring history alive by doing those reenactments. And so we write those for our young people. And now they're so confident in what they're doing, they're writing them themselves. So they have to do their research and bring those characters to life. Nia, for example, last night, she did Fannie Hammer, and she was amazing in bringing her words to life. And Fannie Lou lived a very tough life. She was fighting for civil rights and voter registration, trying to register herself and her community to vote in 1963. And she was beaten very badly. And she has a story that must be told. So when students are able to reenact some of these stories, then they're able to write. And it could come out in the poetry, it could come out in an essay. It's just give them that empowerment to write. And then also tell their own stories. And I think that's what you see with Nia, the stories that she has tons of poems. If you ask her to continue reading, she could, because she has so many poems that she had written. And her poetry, what I like, it comes from her heart. She is a honor student in at RCC and an English major. And when she writes her essays and her assignments, the students enjoy it. And sometimes they ask her to read her work, just the regular assignments that she has to do, because of the fact that she's a good reader. She can read Shakespeare, whatever. She just loves literature. She loves writing. She loves reading. And I'm so glad that she was able to share her work. But getting back to the NAACP and Empower You Edutainment, we just want to make sure that stories are told so that students can begin coming together and working together to make our community a safer place to live, because we understand, or beginning to understand, each other. And I think that that's the beauty in writing. Also, it's the beauty in the arts. We do writing for life. We do writing in the sense that I might read one of my poems, and then I might read Langston Hughes' poem, and then I ask them to write their poem. And I really feel that young people have a lot to say, and we just have to encourage them to say it.
Whoops, there we go. We have a couple more questions. Let's see, give me a second. Are these stories on YouTube or another public platform? Absolutely. I'm really glad that we're recording this event so that we'll be able to share it on YouTube. In addition to sharing this program on YouTube, one of the things that I'm asking Nia to do is do short videos of poems that are coming from the Black Lives Matter anthology writings. So she's going to be recording, she has been recording short clips, one poem each, that will be posted on Inlandia's site, as well as hopefully the NAACP site, and definitely my site, Islands for Writers. There's another question too that was posed, and this is from Francis Vasquez. Wadier Rutger Hughes was such a strong presence in Riverside and the NAACP president. Does Nia and or any others plan to write her phenomenal story? So I'm going to switch to Sharron to answer that question about about the NAACP president, and then hopefully Nia can answer the question of whether or not she's going to write the story on that. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, Woody, that's what we call our great leader. And Nia knew Woody. She was like a second mom to her. And if anybody could write about Woody, it would be Nia. Nia still has her phone call, because Woody was a motivator. And I think what I do now is just what I was taught by her to do: motivate our youth. That's what Woody did, and she did it with Nia. And Nia had a tape before Woody passed away, and in that tape she said, "Nia, I believe in you. I want you to do great things." And Nia still has that tape. So I would like for her to respond how she wants to honor Woody.
Hi. Yeah, Woody. Oh my God, I don't want to get emotional. Woody was just a remarkable woman, leader, president. She really, really inspired me in so many ways. And she was so kind and so sweet. And I wish she was still here with us, honestly. I would be honored, absolutely honored, write her life story. That would just be amazing, because I also do novel as well as poetry and stuff. But I would be honored to write her story. I would just have to sit down with like her daughter or some other family member to like get all the information and make sure it would be accurate, and also get their permission to write it. But if everything aligned, sorry, I would be honored to write her story.
Oops, sorry. Let me make sure there's no other questions real quick. Wonderful. We are, I wanted to mention that our plan with Blacklandia is to continue writing workshops that will focus on the Black Lives Matter movement and also capture stories, another writing workshops to capture stories of Black families and Black people that have spent their lives here in Riverside and have histories here in Riverside and San Bernardino. So we'll definitely have those stories that we'll be presenting. Inlandia has been so gracious to allow us to collect the Black Lives Matter stories, and they're going to publish a book on it, as well as the Black histories of people here in the Inland Empire, and also publish a book on that. So look forward to our writing workshops that I'll be hosting along with Sharron and NAACP. And we will definitely collect histories, literature, writing, stories, poetry. It's going to be wonderful. We are very much looking forward to that. One thing too about, let's see, the other Blacklandia upcoming programs. Yes, let's see, I think I have them on here. We have, give me a minute. Let me see if I have them handy. Let's see. Yes, I do have it. Okay, so give me a minute. So we have several events that are going to be coming up. Give me a minute. I'm looking at this. Let's see. We have a Black Speaks Town Hall and podcast, a series in which town halls are turned into podcasts. And that's going to be presented by a phenomenal poet and educator, Alex Avila. And that's going to be on September 12th. Kjo Creatives, a Black-owned business, is also going to help coordinate Poetry Out Loud, and that's going to be in October. Kjo Creatives, also, again, a Black-owned business, has completed 50 film interviews with Black men from Southern California for a documentary they're calling I Too. And November 10th at 3 p.m., they're going to be promoting that, they're going to be presenting that series. In addition, the African American Studies program at Cal State Fullerton has two major conferences that will come in collaboration with Inlandia. December 3rd is the Innovative Arts Futures Conference. And then there's another one they'll have in, I believe, April. Yes, in April 20th, which is going to be their Innovative Research Futures Conference. I'm going to zip back to, let's see, a workshop titled At Least Butterflies Can Holler, Why Black Women Can't Share Their Rage. And that's going to be hosted, a workshop hosted by Lydia Theon Where I, which is also, she's also a Inlandia instructor. She has been the instructor of the Cartless program. And then, let's see, in February, Ginger Galloway is going to be hosting the African American Book Festival, which is going to be fantastic. I was part of it 2 years ago. In March, there's a discussion of Skip Gates' Black in Latin America. And this program also includes Malcolm Friend, who won the Inlandia's Hillary Gravendick Prize a few years ago. Those are all be part of Inlandia. That's going to be in March. And I mentioned that Cal State Fullerton's African American Studies program is going to have their Innovative Arts Future Conference, and that's in April 20th. And then there's also going to be a photography and poetry workshop tied in with San Bernardino in May. And then that's produced by Natalie Graham, who's a African American studies director at Cal State Fullerton. And then our Romaine Washington, who is with Inlandia and has been facilitating workshops in San Bernardino, will be providing stories of elderly people, Black people in San Bernardino. That will be in June. And then I will kick off the final program of Blacklandia with a reading from an anthology we'll be collecting of Black histories of Black families and individuals living in Riverside, California. And I know I had a couple of questions. Give me a second. Let's see, what else do we have here? Will all events have its own website? No, it's going to be all on Inlandia, because that way we can make sure that you're not having to hopscotch to different sites. It's nice to have everything in one place so you can see the progression of what we're doing and what Inlandia is doing to support the Black community. And give me a minute. Let me see where else we are. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Let's see, give me a minute. Where are we at? Okay, so I'd like to turn the mic again to Nia. Nia wrote a pledge that I feel is very powerful and important to share. And it's one that promotes community and unity, and I would like her to read it. And I'd like you all to read it with her as she reads it to us. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to Nia.
Hi. So this is the anti-racist pledge that just, brings us all together. So you guys can follow along in your homes with this pledge. So this is the intro to the pledge. You don't have to follow along with this part, but we see you. Do you see us? Change cannot come from willpower alone. Instead, change comes from your heart. Please join me by saying the following pledge. I commit to an anti-racist lifestyle. I will work to dismantle racial injustice by listening to voices, experiences, and the expertise of people of color. I will fight against systematic racism in this country. And the ways racism and white supremacy impact every aspect of our life together. I will engage, support, and ensure voting rights for all, and will work towards fairness, justice, and equality for everyone. This is my pledge, and I mean it from my heart.
Okay, thank you so much, Nia. Thank you so much for that pledge. It's very powerful. It's very, very timely. And it gives us something concrete to sink our teeth into to support Black Lives Matter and support equality and Black voices. I'm going to end the read with 2 poems of mine that were published by Inlandia. The first one, she doesn't pout. She's more of an in-your-face kind of girl. She doesn't grumble under her breath. She meets your eyes with a defiant pride, daring you to even think the word sass. in the same thought as her name, sass. Who uses words like that? She doesn't sass. She tells you straight, take it or leave it, like it or don't. There's no defiance in the truth. Sass be damned. Pout. Who pouts but women who have no confidence? A child pouts. A woman makes decisions. She decides what is not worth her time. Sass and pout. No. Her parents raised her to think more of herself. A thinking woman has too much going for her. That's the first one. The second one is written in a tribute to my family. Here is a print. Focus on 3 women, 1 man, and 2 girls, standing in the sun in front of a pool filled with children, not strangers, but knowing no more. There's a marked resemblance in the 5, the same solemn expression except for my grandfather. Pan the lens to Mary, the youngest, registered nurse. No body and no creature messed with Mary. Lake Erie was the oldest, Juilliard graduate, school teacher, surviving most of her siblings, surrogate mother to a family of 8. She is still the unspoken matriarch, regal and firm. Naomi was one of the most beautiful, determined and controlling, graduate of Juilliard in home economics, her diabetes not yet diagnosed. She would lose her leg within 5 years. Cynthia, the last of the grandchildren. We stand together looking like 2 black Rebeccas of Sunnybrook Farm. See how we have developed. She was so small then, dogging my footsteps, always trying to keep up. Now nearly 6 foot tall, towering over my 5'7" frame. And there I am, miles away from home with relatives I don't remember. Last is William Spurgeon Brinkley Sr., eternal optimist, the only surviving boy, then Presbyterian minister, doctorate in theology, father of 3, soldier in the Army Air Corps, one of their first black captains, grandfather of 8, a great man, now dead, like Erie, like Naomi, like Mary. Cynthia and I are all that's left. 2 children, now women, both stepping in shoes bigger than both of us, waiting for our time of greatness. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this beautiful and amazing journey. Thank you so much to Nia and her powerful voice. Thank you also to Sharron for showing us powerfully how a mother supports, how parents support their children's creativity and how to enhance their relationships with their children. We are so blessed to have both of you join us today for this wonderful, wonderful reading and presentation. Thank you so much for the pledge, Nia. I'd like you to send it to Cati, and we'll have Cati hopefully posted on the Inlandia website so that everyone can share it. And I'm going to transfer it back to Cati. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, thank you all. Nia, your work is so powerful. And Selena, thank you for closing us out with those gorgeous poems. And thank you, Sharron, for being here and showing what it looks like to be a supportive member of this community and supporting the next generation. So for all of you who are interested in following the Blacklandia series, please do send me an email if you're not already on our constant contact email list, and I will be sure that you are notified of future events. And thank you all for coming, and hopefully see you all again soon. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Selena, for being a great host, and thank you, Nia and Sharron. Have a great weekend.